Madam Deputy Chairman, I rise to participate in this discussion not with a view to ventilate particular grievances or to secure concessions and relief in the taxation measures. I am one of those who believe that there is no justification for additional taxation unless the conditions laid down by the Taxation Inquiry Commission are complied with. It was a commission presided over by no less a person than Dr. John Mathai, one of our illustrious finance ministers, and it laid down that there was no justification for any additional taxation unless we complied with two or three conditions. One condition was that whatever tax was realized was being properly spent, that there was no wastage or superfluous expenditure being incurred. The Commission had pointed out that out of every rupee that was being raised by the government, 60 paise were being spent on administration and about 20 paise were being spent on social services including education, etc., and the balance for other things. Another was that whatever tax was being imposed should be realized before we brought out measures for fresh taxation. They also had suggested that there was sufficient room for economy in all the ministries and departments and effective steps should be taken forthwith to enforce the maximum possible economy in government expenditure. Now we have before us this audit report for 1961 to 62 which was presented to the Lok Sabha on the 6th June and which came to my hands last night, and I have not been able to study it. I find that during the last 5 years we have imposed additional taxation and at the same time our revenue expenditure has gone up by about rupees 42 crores. So on the one hand we say that we are raising this money, these taxes for the implementation of the plan, and for that reason every chief minister and ministers go about saying that we want money for the implementation of the plan. But what are the facts? We find that the money that has been raised is being used for administrative purposes. So it is not correct to say that. On the other hand, it is not proper because you must know that no plan, however well balanced and well thought out it may be, can be implemented in a democratic setup unless you can enthuse the people. We have been depending either on foreign aid or on indirect taxation or deficit financing, and more than once I have pointed out that these measures will not help to enthuse the people, and unless the people are enthused, we will not have any successful results so far as planning is concerned. Now it is necessary, it is time that we should take stock of the situation, for we have had 14 years of freedom and 12 years of democratic rule and of planned economy. What are the results? I am not one of those who minimize our achievements. We have had some achievements which are remarkable, of which we can be proud. We have had 3 general elections and we can be proud of all this. But it is equally true that the expectations of the people remain mostly unfulfilled. They remain unrealized. What are the expectations of the people? They wanted an adequate supply of drinking water. They wanted a little more wholesome food in their stomachs, a little more cloth on their bodies, a stronger roof over their heads, freedom from the clutches of the corrupt officials and the grabbing intermediaries, and speedier justice. But what have we done? Have we been able to satisfy those expectations? I can say no. Even in the third 5-year plan, we find that all the villages have not been provided with adequate supply of drinking water. And as for food, only the other day the finance minister himself admitted in the other house that there was adulteration of foodstuffs all round. Not only that, a former health minister admitted in this house that it was difficult to get any article of food unadulterated. Then what is the use of talking about pure food articles and of other health facilities when the people are getting articles which are as good as poison? They are injuries to health. The other day, the finance minister is reported to have said that the taxation proposals did not affect the common man because he needed only coarse cloth and ordinary food. During the last 5 years, we have raised rupees 424 crores more. Including the taxation measures, this year the increase in revenue will be about 75%. Since 1956, we have raised additional taxation to the tune of 75%, and during the 5 years preceding this year, the revenue expenditure has gone up by 85%. I would like to know how much of this amount has gone towards developmental expenditure and towards social services. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, it was felt for a long time that the Limitation Act of 1908, which had certain amendments, deserved reconsideration in all its aspects. With this object in view, not only regarding this act but regarding all the acts that are at present in force. After independence, we appointed a law commission to revise all our laws. Sir, the law commission went into this matter in very great detail and referring to certain basic principles that have been adopted and certain amendments that have been suggested by the Commission of Revision appointed in the United Kingdom. They have gone through whole enactment and suggested certain modifications not only in sections but also in articles. I am very glad that the Law Ministry has brought forward the bill on the basis, as the Deputy Law Minister has pointed out, that they have not followed the recommendations of the Law Commission, but in general they have adopted the recommendations of the Law Commission in most of its aspects. Sir, as the matter is to be entrusted to the Joint Committee of both the Houses, it will have the benefit of the deliberations of all those members who are in the Select Committee, and so generally speaking, neither is this the occasion nor the practice to go into detail, but we can just suggest certain general matters so that the Select Committee may take them into consideration while deliberating in detail on the different provisions of the bill. Sir, in view of my experience as a lawyer, I feel that the levy of limitation is a procedural matter, except in certain sections where it confers definite rights on account of possession or certain other matters. We have to see that the matters that are disputed or are under litigation are disposed of in as short a period as possible. The trend everywhere is that the people should not be kept in suspense either before litigation or after litigation. So, my humble suggestion to the members of the Select Committee will be to see that the course of litigation is as much circumscribed, as much reduced as is possible in consonance with the basic principle of fairness, justice and equity. To substantiate what I am submitting, I would give an example, and the members of the Select Committee will go into details of the Law Commission report. So far as matters relating to trustees to whom the property has been entrusted, or in case of disability as minors or insane persons and similar cases are concerned, of course we will have to take all necessary precautions, and if necessary we can extend the time so that these persons who are suffering under any disability should not in the long run suffer on account of the provisions of the Limitation Act. That is one of the fundamental things which I hope the Select Committee will bear in mind. Apart from these two considerations, the other consideration that I will place before the Select Committee is relating to property, whether it is on the basis of contract or otherwise. I am glad that they are trying to very much simplify things by including definite categories into a simple form. Similarly, by including petitions in applications, they are trying to cover up a bigger scope, and all these details I need not go into at this stage, but I would request that they get the time reduced rather than extend it. For instance, in money matters, instead of 3 years, I would be happy if it is a case of 1 year. In matters of land, of course, those days when there was big zamindars, big takuldars or jagirdars were different. Now the whole trend has changed. If at all a litigation is confined to commercial matters where everybody is alert, the circumstances do demand, and if there is anything wrong, if somebody wants to claim something from the other party, it is no use sleeping over it. So the period of limitation should be considered in all these matters from this angle, and that so far as possible let the litigation be introduced or let the suit be filed.